I always have a hard time going to bed the night before a hunt. Then arriving in the duck blind, putting out the decoys, watching the sun come up, hearing the sound of wood ducks right over you, but don't look up because they might see you. All of that is the thing that I'm always chasing. You can't really explain, and you really want to share with people. My name is Tori Loomis, and we are in Frogmore, Louisiana. I grew up hearing stories about these incredible hunts my dad would go on, and every now and then those stories were filled with limits of mallards. It's something I've never experienced until today. My approach to hunting and both cooking is to be a learner and a newbie all the time. To take in as much experience as possible and retain as much of that information and the memories and experience as I can. Eventually share it with other people. And with the cooking aspect of it, it's to utilize as much of the animal as I possibly can, and then to share that with other people as well. It's kind of a full circle experience. There's all kinds of studies that, nature is a therapeutic. It's therapeutic for everybody. And it's funny that the world we live in now, we call it therapeutic, when for so long we were a part of nature. And we kind of live in a world now where I feel like people are pretty disconnected from that, and we forget that we're an actual part of it. We need to be active participants. And so for me, when I'm in nature and I'm piecing all these things together, even down to watching a squirrel chase another squirrel around, or some of the smallest things, but to stop and just pay attention to that and realize I'm here. I'm a part of this. Not above, not less than, and a part of this whole grand scheme of things. Hunters are participants in nature. They don't just take, they take and they replenish. Hunting is a very intimate and personal experience that truly does require some kind of mentorship into it. I know for myself personally, I like hunting because I like going out there by myself and learning these things, but it wasn't always like that. And so I think that it's good for hunters as a whole, to remember that we have to get out there and grab somebody's hand and bring them with us. I was using a Beretta A400 Extreme Plus 20 gauge, which has become my new favorite gun. It's light and it fits right into the pocket of my shoulder. There's not a lot of recoil. It's perfect for everything we did this weekend. I watched it fall because that was when I saw it. When's the last time you got on mallards?
Arkansas 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I grew up with hearing about these stories about those duck hunts from my dad, and my brother was always along for a lot of those. He was really young, but he went on all those. I was a little too busy and wrapped up in my own little, girly world or whatever you want to call it. By the time I started hunting, my dad had kind of retired from hunting. So being with my brother for this duck hunt, killing my first mallard, was as close to that as I'll ever get. It was very special, and I was super excited to hop on the phone and say, we did it. Not I did it, but we did it. I grew up around cooking and my parents and family having gathering, in the South especially, and honestly, I think this is pretty much a universal thing. Food is the common ground.
But you can cook those duck legs. There's not much fat that comes off these.
Well, look at you can tell by their skin.
Yeah.
So a farm raised has about this thick of a... It's a communal thing. It's something we do together, and yes, it nurtures us, but it nurtures us in many different ways. And knowing that I can be a part of that process, not only for myself, but for other people as well, is really special to me. Here, you want to cut that?
Yep.
Cut those in rounds about this big.
Okay.
Going out and hunting with a group and then coming back in and breaking down your birds and cleaning everything together and putting your gear up together and then prepare that meal and then sharing that meal together is a really special experience. It's not the same as just preparing a meal with someone because you walked this whole story from the beginning with those people. It brings you a little bit closer to them. There's deep bonding and understanding that takes place there. And I think that's the kind of thing that happens especially at duck hunts or group type hunting settings.
Really good. This just hit a pellet. That's when you know it's fresh.
That's when you know it's fresh.
I'd rather find a pellet and a duck than a hare in a restaurant on my dish any day.
Better than a hair in your french fries for sure.
Yeah, you know.
There's a moment when everything's quiet and you start to hear some ducks swirling around and the flapping of a mojo. And you just get to be grateful that you're there with who you're there with and what's taking place. Those moments calm me down like nothing else. I remember this morning in particular listening to Drew's lab, May. She was just panting. Knowing how excited she was to get out and do what she loves, and knowing how excited he was to see that, and then how excited I was to see him see that. It's just a lot of gratitude. Drew, are you gonna shoot him?
Yeah, it's about 50 yards, 60 yards.
It feels like it's the best feeling in the world. It feels like success. When you know you got that duck, it feels like it's all come together. All the planning, all the preparing, all of it, all the things, all the stories my dad has told me, all the stories of everyone's amazing duck hunt and all the memories of past duck hunts. It's like you're right back there for a minute. So that's a bond that hunters share that is once again inexplainable, other than it's kind of like when you know, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Take it.